Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, fellow Amazonians, and welcome to the Amba Echo talk show. And today with me in the studio, I have gentlemen, but I want to proceed with our topic for the day, the end expectations of the Southern Cameroon's revolution. The end expectations of the Southern Cameroon's revolution. So it has been increasingly important for us to discuss this topic because our community has been engaged with other governments like the Swiss government in meetings with regards to future negotiation processes of this revolution between the people of Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon. Let me put it the French Cameroon. So a couple of weeks ago or so, a few weeks ago, we had some kind of participation and a lot of noise was generated on social media with respect to what some comrades call it, the Brussels Mafia, the Swiss Mafia, and so many Amazonians have been interested to know what actually is the end expectation of the revolution. So tonight, this afternoon with me, I have some distinguished comrades. I want to introduce them. Welcome, Comrade Marc Chebs. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on.
Welcome and good afternoon, journalist, activist, Marc Beretta.
Good afternoon, fellow Amazonians. You're welcome.
Thank you and good afternoon, Comrade Emmanuel.
Thank you, Comrade Dara, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. This is more of a gentleman's club, Amba Echos is gradually becoming a platform for men. And dear viewers, please endeavor to share the links as you join us because it's a very important aspect that we want to discuss about this revolution. So I want to put the first question to Comrade Marc Beretta. You are an activist. So in your opinion, what are the end expectations of the revolution? What do you expect to happen at the end of this revolution?
Well, like every other person of the former British Southern Cameroon, I think all of us are expecting to have our nation restored. That is our end goal. But how we arrive at that goal to have our nation restored is the problem, and it entails a lot of other issues. So I think that everybody is curious about when will the war come to an end, when will Amazonia become the official reality, and that expectation is making a lot of people, a lot of activists, a lot of leaders, everyone with the heart of Amazonia, skeptical of each other, and also doing a lot of counterattacks are being raised just because they are eager, they are hungry about that end expectation, which is Amazonia. And we have noticed that anything away from that goal naturally generates a lot of reactions, debate, and bad faith. So I think we all, those in jail, are in agreement. Our heroes who have gone for also fell on battle, they are also in agreement. Those of us that we are out and we are lucky to be alive, we are also in agreement with that end expectation, which is the restored state of Amazonia. How we get to it is another topic of discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to move over to Comrade Marc Chebs. Comrade Marc Chebs, I want to put this question to you in this manner. I know that you are a legal mind. You have some experience in law. And I know that you are part of the people fighting for Amazonia. You looked upon as a leader. You are somebody that you've been to events of this nature and you are anticipating an end expectation. So please, can you tell us what do you, in your opinion, think should be the expectation of Ambazonians with respect to this revolution? And can you give us some possible models on how a revolution like ours should tell of? Thank you. Can you unmute your mic, sir?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I think our end expectation is the same as it has always been: independence. We want to restore our independence. That is our end expectation. Now, we came to this revolution with a grievance. The grievance was that the union, which we had been part of, did not work out as people thought it would be. So that was our grievance. So we have a claim, and that claim is that we want to restore our independence as we were before entering into this union. Now, we have goals. Our goal, our ultimate goal, with respect to that claim, is full, unflinching autonomy. So we have some red lines. The status quo is something that we are not going to accept anymore, and we will never return to the status quo. In between that, there are other red lines that we may lay down as to what we will not accept. But when you come into a process like the process that is being led by the Swiss, you have to come in there with an open mind. And that is why you understand the international community has said that there should be no preconditions. That is the exact reason why they made that prescription. Come to it, everything on the table, and then we go from there. So I think, to answer your question directly, I think the end goal for us is achieving the restoration of our independence. That is the end goal.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs. I want to move over to Comrade Emmanuel Agbor. Will you want to differ with what the first two speakers have spoken about, the expectations of Ambazonia?
For us restorationists, there is no way we can differ in our end goal. But our end goal is a totally restored Southern Cameroons. And by the way, the Republic of Cameroon in the early 80s, 82 or 84, opted out of the Union. So from there on, it became clear that we are on our own. We did not opt out of the Union. The Cameroon opted out of the Union when they went and decreed that the United Republic of Cameroon now is the Republic of Cameroon, which means Southern Cameroon from that day had one goal: to become an independent state. And that is our goal, all of us restorationists, a restored Southern Cameroons. Over.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Comrade Emmanuel. Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs and Comrade Marc Beretta. Comrade Marc Beretta, I want to come back to you in your opinion. Will you want to agree that we need a negotiation, a dialogue for this revolution to come to an end, looking at the nature of the war we're living? If that is the case, then how should that be done? Because you talked about something with respect to, okay, it depends on how, the formality, the procedure. Comrade Marc Beretta, thank you so much. Dear viewers, endeavor to share the link. Comrade Marc Beretta, thank you.
Thank you. I think we even in our homes, when our parents fight, sometimes as kids, you sit and you hear mommy, papa are banking, fighting, shouting. And soon you see the room is quiet. They are talking. At the end of the day, they come out of that process into the parlor. They meet us, and so at the end of the day, every war, every disagreement, everything goes back on the table. We have seen now in South Sudan, in Sudan, we have seen how protesters they rose against the military rule, and they said they want a joint, and a lot of people died in that process. But what happened? They sat on the table and they spoke. But even while they sat on the table talking, the civilian population, they did not rest. They did not fold their arms and said, since we are talking, we should stop protesting or so. So the truth is that Cameroon, we have no choice than to sit and negotiate with us. Amazonia will have no choice than also to sit and negotiate with Cameroon. Why that negotiation is important? Because there are a lot of things, we cannot just restore our state like that. There are a lot of things that Cameroon will have to agree to pay back. There are a lot of things that Cameroon will have to agree to share with us, because we have been with them illegally for a number of time. There are a lot of arguments we have to make and to put pen to paper, so that once we are gone, we should not have border crisis where we have Cameroon forces encroaching into our land, or us being encroached into the land. So this type of negotiations, it must happen. We must come to the table. But first, what is the process? How do we go about it? My opinion is that we must not beg for negotiations. Why we must not beg for negotiations? It doesn't mean we must close our doors to any room that counts, because it will look as if we are weak. We have to go to any negotiation table at the position of strength, which means even if what is happening now, like in Switzerland, Brussels, all those things, I don't see it as negotiation. I see it like some informal free talk, because negotiation hasn't even started. My great friend Ray Tima, who is my political advisor, used to tell me that the most difficult part of any war, any struggle, is on the table. It's in that room, because those who represent you might go inside that room and they might thwart the aspirations or the focal or the sufferings of the people. So negotiation is the most difficult part of any revolution, of any war, because we will need experts, we will need negotiations. So to me, what I think is that, because there is an international conspiracy against Amazonia, that is clear. There is no nation, even Switzerland, Britain, US, there is no nation who want to see a new state in Africa. But we don't care, because we think that it's our right to restore what was stolen away from us. And these Western powers, they have no choice than to follow what our people want. So when these Western nations, once they come out with a process, I think it's our place to come together, embrace it. But while we are being cautious, while we keep our eyes on four angles to ensure that we are not being duped. And like one doctor in Boya, Dr. Emmanuel, said that if Amazonia built up a unified structure that will approach any negotiations in the future, we have the right at any point in time to come out of that table if we don't feel satisfied. But what our leaders and those involved must know and do is that they must at each step inform the people of what they need to know. We're not talking about those nitty-gritties, They have to generally inform them on what they need to know, where they are now, what is the next step, so that everyone get engaged. Because those of us in the social media and our people have their own role. We are there, like what we did with Bara and Fontaine in Bamenda with Tassan. I will tell you now something that maybe I wrote in my book, but I've not told anyone. You see, while our leaders were in Bamenda negotiation, I will not call names. Some of them were there with us out, giving us information that you have to start raising alarm now. Have to start pressing. If not, these people will coerce us in there and they might succeed. Because we came out on the media and raise the alarm, and before you minute, you saw a Bamenda opposition was full with the people to go there and give them support. So we have our role in the media to make sure that our leaders, those who are involved in the process, they do not get derailed. But going forward, we have to engage in that process collectively with a unified mind, but being conscious of the fact that there is an international conspiracy against us, so that we don't come out like some bunch of people that we just reject every move. We don't want to talk. We have to kill that narrative, because as of now, I can say as of now, we are winning diplomatically, in the sense that Cameroon has been the one that has shown the world that they do not want to sit down to talk. While we agree to talk, we must make sure we continue to empower Ground Zero, because our voice will only be strong if Ground Zero is strong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc. You have given your own perspective of how you see it. Then I want to move over to Comrade Marc Chebs. Marc Chebs, you've listened to your colleague or to your fellow panelists. Marc Beretta has spoken. That is how he sees it. So what is your own perspective? Because in this instance, we are dealing with the international community. We live in a political war. Amazonia is not suspended in space. That is what somebody confronted me. So Amazonia believe everything. What will Amazonia do? Is Amazonia an exception to the rules? This negotiation, are we talking about us and La Republic, or we are talking about a nation, a sovereign state? So Marc Chebs, please, can you give us your take about this? To our viewers, please endeavor to share the links as you join us. Comrade Marc Chebs, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. I've heard my comrade spoken passionately, as he always does. I want to be really real and practical and frank, okay? So that I think at this level we need this within our polity, so that we are not basing a lot of our aspirations on an illusion or on things that are not practical. So I'll start by saying this. Negotiations is a continuation of war in a different theater, okay? The fact that negotiations are going on doesn't mean that the war stops. And also, what happens during negotiations has a direct impact on what happens on the battlefield, equally as what happens in the battlefield have an impact on what happens at the negotiation theater. All right, so let's set that straight. So then, if you look at that and you are fighting a war and you choose to go to negotiate, you now see that the negotiations is a tactic. It is a means to an end. It is not the end itself. Okay, so negotiations is a tactic. It's a tactic that can be employed by the opposing party as well as the contending party. So we can use it as a tactic. La Republique can use it as a tactic. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, when you decide or make that decision strategically or tactically that you want to engage in a negotiations process, you have to be aware of three things. All right, the three things you have to be aware of is that post-World War II, there has been no country or secessionist movement that has led to an independence of a nation that did not go through a negotiated settlement, right? Now, the ingredients of a negotiated settlement are threefold. You need the international community to endorse that for any negotiated settlement to be successfully accomplish its goals. You need the consent of the occupying state. If independence is your goal or full-fledged autonomy, you need the consent of the occupying state. So in a sense, I'm saying that La Republique will need to amend its constitution in some way or another to allow for us to get that independence. Then the third is you need the negotiated settlement process, right? Those are the three ingredients that you need. Now, I'll just go ahead and say this. When you asked your first question about what the end expectations were, I'll give you three scenarios. If we say that the status quo now is not what we want, as we have made that very clear. There are three end goals ahead of us that we can look at. You can look at a federation, you can look at a confederation, or you can look at outright independence. Those are the three things that we are looking at, right? If you listen to what is going on within the international community, you see that the discourse is reflective of those three end goals, possible end goals. Some people talk about the independence, some of the international community talk about, federation, some kind of something along those lines, and others will talk about a confederation. So when we go to the negotiating table, we know that one way or the other at the end, it is going to come out along one of those three things that have been defined. Now, as my comrade said, I want to make this very important. The negotiations hasn't started yet. What happened in Switzerland were just informal talks about possible talks, right? The way the process works is that these informal talks are there to give the parties a chance to feel each other, see what the possibilities are, a possible talks on talks, and then give some chance for people to explore sort of the options, explore what their options are, what their possible outcomes might be, and then decide if they want to engage in this process. Because once you engage in this process, it is a commitment. It is a commitment that can last for any length of time. It could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years, it could be 4 years. It depends on the willingness of both parties and the international community's commitment to the process, and also what is happening at the battlefront. So I will just go ahead and tell you that with respect to the process, we have to be prepared. Preparation is key. So right now, I don't think people should be scared because we are not in the negotiations process per se as of now. We have had some informal talks. We have agreed, as we had stated from the beginning of this liberation struggle, that we are willing to talk. That is what we went there to reaffirm, that we are willing to talk, so that if it was a trap that was being set to say that, oh, these people are not able to come and say that they can talk or come to the table, we went there to say that, look, we are here, we are willing to talk, and we are willing to engage in this process. That is as simple as that. Now, there are a lot of things that will follow from there. Based on what happened, the next steps could be that we would agree now to have formal talks about the talks. So if we agree to have formal talks about the talks, in those talks about the talks, that's where you start to set things like the agenda for those negotiations. What are you going to be negotiating about? What are the things that are going to happen there? Where is this negotiations going to happen? What date is it going to commence? Who is going to be the parties that are going to be allowed to provide support, whether to our own party or to the other state party? So all of those things are things that happen in the talks on talks, where you come out with an agenda for the negotiations, and then you decide when to formally begin the real talks. So we are still a ways away, right? So I don't want people to get confused about the fact that we are engaging now and then call it negotiations. And even at the level of the talks on talks, we are still not in the negotiations. Those are just preliminary discussions, as I said, where you set the agenda for the negotiations. And I want to just elucidate that a little bit. When I talk about setting the agenda for negotiations, some people don't understand that when you negotiate about everything. So we are going to also be negotiating about what location should these negotiations be at, what sequence should these negotiations follow. We confirm the choice of our mediator. We make sure that the other side has the authority to negotiate. We make sure that we have the authority to negotiate. We make sure that we put in place some confidence building measures so that it can prove to us that they are willing and ready to negotiate. And they are also going to demand confidence building measures from us to show that we are willing and ready to negotiate. So there are all sorts of things that go into place before you actually come to the negotiations. And while all these are going on, we cannot fold our hands and sit back as my comrade said, we have to continue pushing, we have to continue our activism, we have to continue all the things that have brought us to this point.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs. To our dear viewers out there, please, we want to encourage you to keep sharing the links. Share as much as possible because we need clarification. As Ambazonians, we deserve to know. We need to have clarifications. So, Comrade Emmanuel, will you want to agree with it? And I want to ask another question to it. A comrade just sent a comment because I'm going through the comments. He said it is important for us to tell our people the details. So is it everything that we are going to put it out there to the public? Is it everything that we are going to come and sit there? Or Comrade Marc is going to sit there with other activists and then they're going to cry it out? Or I'm going to come and cry all the details out in public? Or are there, do you people have demands at this stage to tell people that, okay, this is what we want because somebody said no release, no negotiation? No demilitarization of Southern Cameroon, no negotiation. You know, people's angers are very hot like me. And my anger, if at times when I'm really angry, I can box somebody, you know. So I want to be very honest to say how I feel because when I get angry, I can talk so much and people's comments are coming in, they are sharing. So please, what do you want to say about this issue so that all of us can hear it clearly? Because I thought it was formal, but now it's informal conversation. So from the Brussels Mafia, the Swiss Mafia, the Swiss Connection, I have heard names there. Auntie, what do you have to say? Thank you, Comrade Emmanuel. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Dora. Marc Chebs has said lots of things. He has referred to it as informal talks. I would characterize it differently. I would call it contact phase. The international community had demanded or requested that the Cameroons show some willingness or get into informal talks as a means to solve the crisis. Now, we on our part had to show the international community that we are ready. And the means we had was Geneva. So they contacted us as a contact phase. So we should come and know what this is about. Who is Switzerland? Why have they decided to mediate? Who are they using for the mediation? Who is Switzerland? What's their interest? Who is HD? What's their interest? So this was a contact phase where we had to know each other. It had nothing to do with negotiations. It was.
Emmanuel, can I interrupt you a bit? What if we were contacted and we turn it down? What would be the outcome? Because that's another thing I'm asking people. What if we turn down anything they say? We say no. So what would be the outcome?
If we had turned down the contact or the possibility to show the international community that we are willing to talk, and then we already had some motion going on in the US Congress to place sanctions on Cameroon. And what that meant is that they were going to place sanctions on both Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon pro-independence forces and their leaders in the diaspora. And you know what that means. I don't want to go into details in that area. So our struggle would have been starved of funds and the necessary human resources. So that would have been the consequences of saying no. And one thing I have to make clear to our people is that what happened in Brussels had nothing to do with negotiations. Brussels was organized by the European Institute of Peace. It was a capacity building initiative. A capacity building initiative. This is very different from what happened in Geneva. What happened in Geneva is that the Swiss government took up took it up, took the chance to mediate between the fighting parties. And so invited those leaders or those movements they think they could convene to inform them formally, face to face, that yes, we are ready to mediate. Are you ready to mediate? So this is very different from the Brussels. Brussels was a capacity building. EIP did not come, I was not in Brussels, but I had conversations with those who were there. And the theme of the meeting was capacity building. So we should not mix these two. So if we had refused to indicate our willingness to get into this process, the international community would have seen us in another light. I'm not in their minds, but I think they would see us as just troublemakers. And that would have opened a can of worms for us. Over.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc. I'm coming back to you. You're an activist, and there is one thing that I admire about you. You've been involved in protest march in Brussels. You know, you are with me in the same county, and most often we used to meet in so many meetings and so many march and protests in Brussels, almost everywhere. You've been very influential in going around Europe, talking to many people about it. So I want to ask you this question, Comrade Marc, in your opinion. The Brussels meeting, or let me put it, is separate from the Geneva meeting. Could it be possible, or will it be like, I'll put it this way, will it be a possibility, or could there be a possibility that what we are seeing today is the product of all the protests, all the submissions that we've been contacting our parliamentarians and different NGOs? Or what would you want to add to what your previous comrades have spoken? Comrade Marc, can you unmute? You're muted, sir.
Yeah. Yes, I think that first and foremost, the outcome of all this is because Ground Zero is boiling. It's because Ground Zero is talking. I always take us back to the days of the SCNC, which is the mother organization, which came out of 93 and 94 All Anglophones Conference. These persons, since every 1st of October, they will organize marches in Ground Zero, arrested, beaten. A year in the diaspora, we've had people that before 2016, they have organized protests in embassies, they wrote long letters. Those letters were just taken and kept. Very good letters. And the truth, they take and kept. We came in 2016, and with the diaspora movement, we also added, and we have done several marches, several letters. All of these are our actions. If there was nothing happening in Ground Zero, what happened is that you have no reaction from any of these government talking. They are all talking and sending letters that they want to maintain, that they should be dialogue. We have heard from AU, UN, USA, Germany, all. It's because they recognize that many people have died, thousands as refugees, thousands as IDPs, thousands homes get burned, and there are human rights abuses, largely 95.99.999% from Cameroon occupational defense forces. And so because of that, they are now talking and taking actions they want us to talk. Without Ground Zero action, I bet you agree with me that we'll march in the diaspora, we'll write several letters, nothing will happen. Because what happens is that the Indian community, they will turn back home and say, man, you are marching out here, but your people back home are fine. You see? So that is why we keep on, and I agree with Marc, Chebs, and Comrade Emmanuel, we keep saying that as we are going on with the contacts or capacity or future negotiations, we must not forget what really matters. Because at some point, if Cameroon, for example, decide, okay, now they're coming for negotiations, they come to negotiations and they realize that back home in Ground Zero we are weak, that they realize that their making gains. They might impose upon us what we don't want, or they might even pull out of the process. You see, and the same applies to us. If we do the necessary things and make sure we give our boys or our heroes, as I like to call them, on ground zero, what they need to have, we can pull out of the negotiation at any point in time with our works up, and they will come begging because we have made ground zero to be. So all the focus, all what we are doing as an activist, I will talk on the point of the activists, all our focus should be on empowering ground zero. Because if ground zero is not empowered, diplomats who are not involved, the leaders out there are not involved, we will not have any voice to say, not on the table,
Comrade
and
Marc,
not off the table.
Comrade Marc, what you're saying, something I know ground zero is very important. It's a strategic, the action point. But Comrade Marc, would you want to put it also this way, that is the combined effect? Because if ground zero was boiling and we are here in the diaspora, somebody like you probably
Yes.
from Facebook,
Yes.
it's a combined effect, because that's how I see it. I don't know how you see it, because you are on Facebook for more. You talking on Facebook, I'm on talking on Facebook. You're talking about. So what do you want to say? Because when I look at it, I see a combined effect. There are things that are happening in other parts of the world, and the diaspora is silent, so they can be eradicated. People can just be wiped out. This is 21st century with technology. So how will you want to look at it, like a combined effect or only ground zero?
It is. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. That's what we said. Ground zero need us. We need ground zero. Because our tweeting action, our protests in those places, the letters we have written, the combination of the human rights abuses that have done, ground zero needs someone out here to be doing this thing, giving it to bodies that matter, giving it to senators, giving it to parliamentarians, giving it to every organization that matters, and that is what diaspora has been doing. Because we talk with facts, we talk with evidences. I can also say, without diaspora, I'm not sure we would have gone this far, because it would have maybe the steps now that we are would have taken years before the community keeps talking. So ground zero might be there doing their thing, but nobody is out there talking. The world will not even know what is happening. But because of the actions of the diaspora, we have been able to expose those human rights abuses. We have been able to sell our cause to the world. We have been able to go to offices, go to places, and cry and say, you need to hear, you need to see what is happening. Then I see a lot of things happening on ground zero that we have not been able to sell out. A lot of human rights abuses that we don't even get to see. We don't even get to see, because a lot is going on without our knowledge. So I agree. There's no way we can disregard the contributions of those of us in the diaspora, activists or leaders who are going out. It is a two-way reaction. It is a combined effect. But what I'm saying is that there is, it's like a pendulum. A pendulum, when it swings, we will need to make sure the pendulum swings more on ground zero, so that it keeps our voices out here alive, and it makes us to push the digital community to say, hey, you need to arrive, you need to fast track, so that we end this, I call it, useless and senseless war. Because we would have restored our struggle is based on the truth. It's based on the truth. Anyone out there who reads our story, look at the facts, will tell you that we never needed a war to restore our statehood. It's based on the truth.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc. I want to move over to Comrade Marc Chebs. Comrade Marc Chebs, something I want to ask you this question. In your opinion, if there were to be a negotiation today, will you deviate from Switzerland? Why is Switzerland? Some people or comrades say in social media, so Switzerland is not qualified. So, in your opinion, will you want to say Switzerland is not qualified? And also, will you also want to say that the two parties that are involved, how would the negotiation process look like if the two parties think that, okay, Switzerland is not qualified? Because some Amazonians believe Switzerland is not qualified. Does Switzerland has capacity to do such a thing? Do they have any record of something that they have done before in this aspect? Comrade Marc Chebs, tell us something about that. Thank you.
That's a good question. I just want to go back and reference something. I think Comrade Emmanuel was right when he said that what happened in Geneva was contacts. I don't. When I characterized it as informal talks, I meant between ourselves and the party, that is Switzerland, who invited us to initiate that contact. So I just wanted to clarify that is the right terminology to use to characterize what happened. I also want to reflect on something you raised that my other panelists haven't touched on, was the issue about having this process in public. I think that diplomacy is a very confidential thing for so many good reasons. And a peace process is something that has to be very confidential, but there are aspects of it that are made public, especially to the parties and to their stakeholders. So I want to just reiterate that this whole process is not going to be done in the public sphere. There is going to be a segment where there will be a national dialogue for ourselves, for our people, among ourselves, to inform this process. But the process is not going to be done minute by minute on social media or on any national television or whatsoever. That being said, progress is going to be reported. People will be duly informed, and that is on us. We have to come up with a communication strategy for how we bring our people aboard and ensure that they are informed and how the process is unfolding. To your question about the Switzerland, I think Switzerland is more than qualified to be a mediator. Switzerland has a stellar record. And when I say stellar record, I don't mean that every mediation that Switzerland has participated in has been successful, But when I say stellar record, I mean that they have a record as a neutral party. They have participated in countless of conflict scenarios, in mediation processes.
Can I come in there? I don't know.
Comrade Marc, he's going to end, and I'm going to give you the floor, please.
Okay.
Yes, let me just finish my thought. They have had a considerable amount of success in pursuing mediation. I want to make one thing clear. Look, as you stated in your opening, we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a world made up of nation states. Nation states have relationships with each other. That is how the world works. That is what we call the international political arena. They go to organizations like the UN. In Africa, we have the AU that governs the African nations. That is their arena. So that's what we call international relations. So all of these countries have relationships with each other that are based on interest. They are based on general organization about how the world should move. And they are based on trying to solve the problems of the world. So there's no country in this world that you can pick and tell me that this country has not dealt with in one way or another, or has some bilateral relationship or some form. So we should not look at the neutrality through the lens of international relations. We should look at it from the perspective of the track record of the country's involvement in such processes, and also look at it from the commitments that the country has made with what they want to do with the process, and also the guarantors that are coming on board to support the process. The UN is coming on board to support this process. The EU is coming on board to support this process. The US is going to support this process. So many countries. So if there is there are guidelines for how mediators operate. It's a professional job. Mediation is a professional discipline. So there are guidelines, there are things that the Swiss will have to adhere to, and if they depart from that, they will be held accountable. We have other nations that are, as I indicated earlier, as support parties. There are principles for how support parties participate in this. You know, whether the US, who has taken our cause so wholeheartedly, is going to be a support party for us. There's a role that they play. So we should not be so concerned that the Swiss are partial, or because the Swiss have bilateral relations with Cameroon, that will somehow deter this process or make them to be impartial, to be partial.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Barata. Please, can you come in and chip in before I move on to the next talker? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I want to disagree a little bit with Comrade Marc. You see, this is what I think. I think one of the fundamental flaws of the leaders who went to Switzerland and appended their signature to that document was the aspect of praising Switzerland and showing we are not supposed on our part as Ambazonians, because we know that Switzerland government says that both parties have requested them to be a mediator. Even as of now, we are only seeing Ambazonian leaders agreeing that yes, we want Switzerland to be a mediator. We've not seen Cameroon talking. So I am still doubting. I'm not. Marc, I think I don't know if you attended Emmanuel. I think you were there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you people are looking at the fact that there will only be one mediator. Ambazonia has to have her own mediator, because I know that on negotiation table you have mediators. You know, if Switzerland is representing and has brought both parties together, is Switzerland just coming? It's okay, Cameroon, I brought you, Ambazonia, I brought you. I've created an environment for you to talk. Now, Cameroon, look for your own mediator. Ambazonia, look for yours. Or will Switzerland be mediating between both sides? I am not sure it is possible. That we have to have our own mediator that we trust, that they can also sit on the table with Cameroon mediator and mediate and talk. So it is not our place for us to praise Switzerland, to show how Switzerland is neutral or Switzerland is good for us. So I think that's one of the fundamental mistakes that our leaders should not do. Cameroon Republic should be coming out and telling their citizens that, oh, we think we like Switzerland. Switzerland will help us to keep Cameroon one and indivisible. Oh, we think Switzerland is good. We can mediate. Ambazonians is our place to go out there and try to show how Switzerland is good. As of now, we have to keep our eyes open. In fact, we have to suspect any move from any foreign entity, because we know there is an international conspiracy against us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I want Comrade Marc Chebs, you will take on that, and then Comrade Emmanuel, you're going to tell us, because Marc Barata has raised the concern as an activist. I'm glad that I have an activist on this panel, and I would like to have Marc Barata again on another panel, on another platform, so that Marc Barata can really, that he's speaking the mindset of the layman down there, and he's really expressing important concerns that I agree to them. Comrade Marc Chebs, so can you make a take on that before I move over to Comrade Emmanuel, because you were present there. So tell us something about this, because to me, I'm just a commentator here, an analyst. Right. I don't know anything about it. I'm listening to you people. Thank you.
So I think that if we have to, we have to do a good job educating our people about this process, and we cannot do it all on this show. But I'll say this: just to capture it quickly, there is a difference between a mediator, a negotiator, a facilitator, a guarantor. Okay, so all of these terminologies have different implications on the process. Switzerland is the mediator. All right, we are going to bring our own negotiator, right? And La République is going to have their own negotiator. These are the actors that are going to be negotiating. The Swiss are there to play a mediating role, which is to bring communications from the beginning, act as a post box, bring communications back and forth to the parties if they so consent. And once the process kicks in, they are there sort of as the referee. You know, the mediator doesn't make a decision. They are not a judge. At the end of the negotiation, the mediator doesn't say this is the ruling, you have won, or you take this. No, that is not their role. So we need to understand their role. They are as a referee, and I want to use this analogy for my brother Marc. When you go into a soccer game, right, to a football match, when the match starts, all the teams walk and shake the hand of the referee. Don't they do that? Does it mean that when the teams walk by and shake the hand of the referee, it means that the referee is going to be partial to one team or the other? No. It is part of the gamesmanship, it is part of the sportsmanship, it is part of the good faith. You walk at the end, you shake the hand of the referee, and at the end of the game, the teams also walk up, even the teams that lose go up and shake the hands of the referee. So what we were doing there by, I know my brother says we were praising Switzerland. No, we were recognizing the fact that they have a record of doing this kind of work and that they have taken up this role to be the referee, to be the mediator. And so that is why we spoke exactly to that, acknowledging what they have done and their role and their expertise in that. That is all. Now, our negotiators is our responsibility. We Amazonians, we pick our negotiators who are going to be the ones negotiating on our behalf, equally as La Republic is going to pick their negotiators who are going to be negotiating with our negotiators. There is a different role of something called a facilitator. A facilitator could play any number of roles. They could be just somebody who comes between us, the Amazonians, and say that you, the Amazonian people, you have some differences among yourselves. So we are going to play a role of trying to bridge those differences among your different groups. That is a facilitator. They could do that. You could equally have a facilitator doing that on the side of La Republic, because on the side of La Republic, we know that they also are not united in what they want. There are some people who say all options on the table. There are some people who say the form of the state cannot be changed. And there are some people who say that, you know what, let's just keep let's just keep going the way things are going. So we need to keep this role separate. And the last one is the guarantor. You have a guarantor who's the person who is going to say, at the outcome of what the outcomes of this negotiated agreement is, we are going to ensure that it is enforced and implemented. So those are guarantors. So we are going to have our own guarantors. There are people who have already lined up from the international community who are endorsing this process, who are also going to play a role as a guarantor, like the UN, but it doesn't preclude us from having our own guarantors. For example, we could have the United States, you know, people who are going to enforce whatever agreement comes out of that negotiating table. So let's just keep these terminologies separate and not mix them up.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs. I want to move over to Comrade Emmanuel. Comrade Emmanuel, what would you want to comment with respect to the points that Comrade Marc Barata has raised on the show? Comrade Marc Barata has said quite a lot of things. So, Comrade Emmanuel, what would you want to say about it? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Dora. I think, like Marc said, we should be able to, we should try to understand the process of negotiation. We should try to understand the different terminologies and the concepts. Yeah, it's possible to have multiple mediators. If we go back to the case of Palestine, we saw them changing from mediator to mediator, mediator to mediator. And what's the end game of Palestine? They are still stuck. They have not moved one step. And when it comes to praising the Swiss, are we praising the Swiss? We are not praising the Swiss. We are looking at what the Swiss have been doing in this area of mediation. And based on that, irrespective of our doubts, we have doubts, we have suspicion of all international players. That's why we go into their track record into mediation. And we have seen that Switzerland has a track record of good mediation. And the second thing, during the process, you have people who are watching. You have people who are watching the process. After the process, there are people who are making sure that the agreements are implemented. And the third thing I would say, there are international guidelines, there are international regulations that must not be broken by the mediator or the negotiators. So it's a whole process. It's not like you don't just get up and this guy picks a mediator, this guy picks a mediator. How many referees do you have in a football game? So I think it's a question of understanding the different concepts, different word terminologies, and understanding how the process of negotiation actually is run. I'm not a specialist in this, but I've taken my time to do some work, understand these concepts and terminologies, and try to understand the process. And my presence in Geneva also helped because through my questioning, I got to, and the questioning of others, I got to understand a lot of things when it comes to this process. So I'll beg Marc to just relax and try to ask questions. You can call me and ask me about these things, what happened in Geneva, and then we have our brothers who understand, who've been working with these things. They can answer and do a lot of clarification. So we focus on bringing our people together instead of throwing out things that will make our people create doubts in this process. In as much as we have our doubts, I believe that we should all embrace this process as one people. We are free at any point in time to say, okay, now we have seen these things that the Swiss government has been doing during this process, and we think that they are not partial. We are pulling out. That is allowed. But let us come together as one and go into this process. Over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I want to go back to Comrade Marc Chebs. You want to explain that to us because you were there and you could tell us something about this process because Marc has raised serious concerns. And I want to ask you, is it what we are thinking? Like, let me put it this way. A comrade just sent a comment here. A lot of comments here are saying that Princess Dora, you know something? We don't want anything without the release of our leaders. Do you put demands on them to release our leaders now and demilitarize the southern Cameroons, which is something that I'm crying every day, or you must not put any comment at this stage? That is what I'm asking you because I don't understand. Is it what I am thinking or is the international procedure that rules? Because at times I'm thinking of what I'm thinking and I call it my common sense. But what will you want to say, Comrade Marc Chebs? Because that is what is worrying me. I just thought that when you go there, immediately people will just say, release everybody, including our leaders who are held in detention in Kondenge. The next thing is that, please, give us demilitarize our zone. No, that's I want to ask Comrade Marc Chebs. Let him tell me this comment because he was speaking. A comrade, many comrades were mentioning this. Comrade Marc, please. Comrade Barretta, please a bit. Let him tell. Yes, it's serious.
Let's recognize the presence of Prof.
Yes.
Yeah, Comrade Marc Chebs.
Okay, yes. Comrade Emmanuel was saying let's acknowledge Professor Anyangwe just joined. So, but I'll just answer this question. Welcome, Prof. And then maybe he will have something to add to this. So, briefly, here's a framework for a peace agreement. Okay, a framework for a peace agreement has these things. You have a mandate, you have resolutions, you have international law, and you have transitional justice. There's nothing that we can do that is going to be against international law, whether it's done by the mediators, whether it's done by any of the parties. So any agreement that we arrive at has to follow this framework, you know. So we have a mandate, we have the resolution, You have international law, and you have to make room for transitional justice.
Comrade Marc, let me ask you this thing. But La Republic did not follow that international law. Did you people tell the Swiss people that they took our leaders out of Nigeria? They did not follow the international law. Can we now violate that law or that their procedure? Because
Yes,
I am not
let me-
happy. I have to
let
be
me just
frank.
let me just wrap up to answer your question. So the reason I said this is to answer the question of the comrade who said that we can't do anything unless they release our leaders and unless they demilitarize. If you remember, what I said from the beginning was that we have just made contact. Once we leave contact, the next stage is the talks about talks. And as I was explaining to you, during the talks on talks, that's when you set the agenda for the actual talks. And so when you are setting that agenda, you can put a lot of confidence building measures in there. So you can say that we want the release of prisoners as a confidence building measure. We want a cessation of hostilities or a ceasefire as a confidence building measure. But you cannot put the cart before the horse. We are not in the negotiations yet. So we cannot be making demands. And that's why the international community has also said that we should negotiate without preconditions, right? So if you start saying, before I come to the table, release prisoners, do this and that, those are conditions. But nevertheless, like I said, if we just understand the process, we would understand these things and it will be less of a problem. As the process dictates, we are just at the contact phase. Once we go to the talks on talks phase and we are setting an agenda for possible talks, then we can insert or request things to be on that agenda, such as release of prisoners as a confidence building measure. And that's how the process works.
Can I just come in there?
Yes, sure. Come in.
Yes, I just want to say that I agree somewhat with Marc Chebs. You see, the truth is that, and this is what our people should know. Even the release of Amazonians, the cessation of ceasefire, it is an outcome of negotiation also. Let me just say that. The truth is that there is no way we will just sit and say release, and La Republic just maybe release 2050 and we say okay, we are going on the table. But what Marc is saying is that, and Paul should understand, is that before the substantive issues are being talked, at the preliminary phase, when we on our side, we have come together and put in place our experts and negotiators who talk on our behalf, a unified team. That's why I've been saying that our leaders of the various movements and groups, we have to come together and agree on a team of experts and negotiators. And this unified team, they will give those experts and negotiators a term of reference, what they need to do from stage by stage. And then at the preliminary, now when this our team of experts now, when they meet now the other camp, at the preliminary, said, before we get into other issues and the main issues, this is what we think that is to show our people, to show the world, at least to give that good faith that we can now get, because we cannot get into this issue to talk the business of the day. And we are saying this one, this is a no-go area, a no-go zone, because our people need to feed, our people need to sleep well. Two, we are saying that release every person in the jails, and Cameroon also would give its own conditions. Okay, this, and then we come out to an argument. So this thing is, it is give and take. That's a simple truth. That's a simple truth. So it is the release of our people from jail and an end of or ceasefire is part of the preliminary stage of negotiation, not the substantive. No, not what that is. Okay, now we are actually into a negotiation, and this is what is actually happening. I personally, I did not expect those who went to Switzerland to start saying release, because what was happening there was contacts, trying to understand what is happening. And like I said, the biggest win we have had from there is that we have shown the world that at least we have shown some some unified move from our leaders that we can get onto the table. And that's why we are saying that we are begging that all those who are not part of the process, we have to come together as one structure. Then they should propose names of expert negotiators that they think can represent Ambassador. Once all of our leaders and all the groups, once they agree on the team of negotiators and experts, it will translate automatically onto social media. You won't have these people of each group or surrogates attacking each other and saying, because all the groups and movements generally endorse those experts and negotiators who will talk on behalf of Amba Echos. And like Marc Chebs, let me just conclude. Whenever preconditions, I don't think the preconditions really mean that about giving conditions about people being released. To me, the preconditions that the international community is talking, there should be no taboo on the table to talk. It means Cameroon can come with his one individual agenda of federation. We will come with our outright separation and independence. But there's something that we call watering the environment, making the environment conducive, giving people confidence and trust that truly each party is ready to talk, that we can talk. That is where the release of our people come together. So the release of our leaders or ceasefire, it is not part of, it is not a precondition. It is an aspect of good faith to make the environment fertile so that we can now sit and plant to reach to a negotiated settlement. The precondition here is that Cameroon cannot come and say, okay, we will not talk with separatists because they want to divide Cameroon. We will talk only with those who want probably a federation. That's what the community say. No, everything must be on the table. There is no a taboo. We too we can't say Cameroon we want to sue because you have one Cameroon. No,
thank you.
We'll go out there with our points and fight for it.
Yeah, thank you. I want to go over to Comrade Emmanuel. You were there. I want to ask you what would be your take, Comrade Emmanuel. Marc Barretta has raised up subjects of concern. I don't want to ask a question, but I want you to make a take to tell the people how the international community wants to clear it. What is their procedure? Because from the way you people are talking, you and Marc Chebs were there, I'm beginning to see that there's a procedure. And I'm wondering whether we are an exception to the rule, or do you people have other examples that were given to you people there that you people want to highlight them to us so that we can start see a clearer picture before we move over to our responsibility? Thank you, Comrade Emmanuel. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Dora. Like I said, when we were there, we looked at different cases where the Swiss government has been involved. So, in as much as we are suspicious of the West, in as much as we are skeptical about every Western country and Western corporation, from the case studies we saw and from the history of the Swiss government being involved in mediation, we said, okay, let us give it a try. But like the Swiss government, those who were representing the Swiss government said, it was a lot of questions and it was a lot of it. But anytime we feel like we are not comfortable with the way things are being done, we can pull out. So to me, I strongly think we should give it a try. And another thing I want to highlight is that one of the reasons why you have a mediator, or one of the rules of the mediator, is to make sure that both parties come to the table knowing what they are getting into. What that means is, let's take like Republic of Cameroon. They have all the resources to hire anyone they want. The Ambazonian people, we don't have the resources. So the mediator is going to make sure that the people from Southern Cameroon, the pro-independence groups of Southern Cameroon, have enough resources to get themselves schooled on the process. They have enough resources to hire experts who would help them to build up their file and all that. So the mediator's role is very important for us. And that's why we have to look for a mediator who has a track record of being just and fair in the processes like this. So in as much as we have our suspicions, we think Switzerland could be given a try. So the challenge we have now is for us, the pro-independence groups of Southern Cameroon, to come together and show to the world that we are mature enough to engage in this process. Then we will going to have others from the international community who will take their supervision role of the process seriously, and others from the international community who would be there to guarantee that whatever agreements come out of this process, we will make sure they are implemented. So again, we need people like Marc to go out there and tell our people, let us come together and speak as one and give this process a try. Over.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs. Please, will you want to add something, or will you want to disagree? Or will you have something to say that is very different, so that our people can get this clear? Because it seems like we are dancing here like this. We never knew that after all the dance in the streets and the petitions and the ground zero work, it will come to this, because this thing is getting very hot. I'm telling you, it is hot. When they say strike the iron when it is hot. Tell us, do we need many mediators? Are there other people who have used many mediators and succeeded? Are there other people who need many mediators and they have failed? I want to be very objective, because this is where we have to. Somebody says when we get to the bridge, we will cross the stream. Yes, so this is the bridge. Help us and tell us more about it so that we can know more. I really want to know more, because I'm really curious to know this thing. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I want to reinforce what Comrade Emmanuel said by stating this. Unity of our camp is the key to success. The party that comes to the mediation or negotiation with as the most united party always has the highest chance of being successful, because unity is leverage, a huge amount of leverage. So it is absolutely important that we get our people to support this process and to learn about this process. And we are going to try as much as possible to provide avenues to educate ourselves and our people about this process, so that we provide the negotiators and the team that are going to be representing us with all the support that they need. Now, to answer your question, I'll go back again to the analogy I used earlier. In a football match, you have one referee. Yeah, you also have linesmen, right? But they all have different roles. You have one referee, he has a role, and it's the principal role. You have linesmen who provide support to this referee, and that's how the game is played. So we should look at it in that light. Yes, you have a mediator, and you can have other support roles played by different parties. We have to determine that. And again, what I said earlier is that there are processes for these things. You need the consent of the other party. If we are saying that we want to bring some facilitator or some other party to be part of this, note that the other party also has this available. So we have to make a decision about efficiency, legitimacy, and also about risk of derailing the process because you have too many cooks in the kitchen. So these are all strategic decisions that we have to make, and then they are going to inform the process, our guidelines for how we want the process to work. So I don't think we should be bothering ourselves now at this stage about worrying about how many mediators are going to be there or all of this. I mean, these things are going to be dealt with as we progress gradually through the various stages leading up to the negotiation. With respect to, I forget, can you remind me, there was one other thing you wanted me to comment on?
Pardon, what did you say?
You wanted me to comment on something else. Can you?
Do we need many mediators? Are there other countries that have used many mediators? Did they succeed? Did they fail? Did they give you people example? Because when somebody is talking something, when your mother says that this child in a quarter, your mother says this child, when they send him to school, he goes and hangs around the street, the three corners. He fails exam. That's example, right?
Yes.
You know that if you stand by that place where those guys are gang up, you fail exam. So I'm asking you, if you people were there and they told you people about other people who have come there and they are looking at places and they also they took like many mediators, they failed or they pass. Thank you.
I'm just sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Comrade, yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, I want to show you the examples. So look right here. You asked for it. Here it is. These are the cases of countries that have gone through this process. Okay.
Okay.
So you look on the very far corner, on the very green.
Comrade Marc Chebs, please excuse me. Amazonians need to look at it. I don't know if it's clear. Yeah, I want Amazonians to get this picture. So please, if you are watching us, share the link so that somebody can hear this. If they gave them example of case study, when case study comes up, everybody should pay attention because extensive wheat cultivation in the Canadian Paris. They give you market gardening and where Holland example exhibit. So please endeavor to share this link. Please, I want to see it. Somebody says you can please enlarge it a little bit. Then tell us something. Thank you.
All right. So here it is. So you see here 4 case study categories of independence movements post World War II. You see on this far side, you see the countries in green. These are the countries that have had the independence movements that had absolute success and led to the creation of the countries. So you can see there Slovenia, Croatia, Timor, Eritrea, Kosovo, and South Sudan. On the lighter green, those are the ones that started out as independence movements. They wanted independence, they got success, but not necessarily as an independent country. They achieved some success that can be viewed through a different lens. So there you have Republic of Srpska, Acre, Basque in Spain, you have Quebec in Canada, you have North Ireland, you have the Bangsamoro Islamist group in the Philippines. And then in the third one on the yellow, those are ones that started out the same way, but did not achieve the level of success to become fully independent. But they did have a significant change from the status quo. That is from where they started, they saw a significant change. So you have Taiwan, you have Afghan, you have Kurdistan, Kasavarans, North Cyprus, Transnistria, Abkhazia, South Ossetia. Then the red are the ones that started out the same way but failed. You have Biafra, you have Tibet, you have Xinjiang, Sahrawi, Tamil Elam, Republic of Crimea, Somaliland. So you see that when you talk about all of these different things, we look at them from the perspective of the case studies. For example, there was one particular one that was drawn to our attention, that I'll draw to your attention, Republic of Crimea. This particular case study, they had a full-fledged military. This was an independence movement that broke out from an existing military and separated. So they had a full military with tanks and all the things that we might say that we don't yet have on our own front. And why did they fail? Because they went to this process and they became so arrogant. They became arrogant by saying that we have a military, we can win this by military might, and you know, if this thing is not going the way we want, we can use our military might. And when I say this, they did certain things. Remember when I said before that you need the consent of the occupying party, you need the international community, and you need the negotiated settlement. Where they failed was one, they approved of the negotiated settlement while they were in there, and as a consequence of some of their actions, they lost the support of the international community, and therefore they have found themselves in the red column. So if you look at this case studies, and we don't have time, so I can't really go to explain it, but I just showed you to give a synopsis. If you look at this, you want to say that our case, we absolutely want to fall here at the end of this process.
Yes, this green. Yes,
Chebs,
I'm sorry. I want to be on the pure green, the deep green. That is why I'm seeing Amazonia.
That's what I'm saying. And for us to fall there are a certain number of processes and steps that we need to take, and we need to be proactive. And that's why myself and Comrade Emmanuel here else keep saying that our people need to be informed and educated about this process to understand, so that we don't do anything from our part that creates a possibility that we find ourselves falling in the next green or in the yellow. But as a minimum, we do not want to be in the red. At the very least, we want to fall, and this was the example of North Cyprus. They said at the very, very least, if the worst comes to the worst, that's possibly your minimum. But of course, we said that we want to fall in this green. So I hope that kind of gives people some sense of understanding this.
I think, Comrade Chebs, Comrade Emmanuel, before you come in, Comrade Chebs, we must do everything possible to be in this deep green. That is it. And I want you to also please send some of this chat so that we can write a small book or a small paper on it. So that people every day they get up from their bed, they'll start doing the assignment well. That this green, this Slovenia, Croatia, that is where I want to be. Comrade Emmanuel, you can come in.
Yeah, it's very good that Comrade just brought this chat up. I want to let our people to know that these are case studies that we looked at. And one of our speakers, he participated in 17 of those cases. And some of the most successful ones, he was the mediator.
Wow.
And he knows exactly what we have to do. And these are the things we are telling our people, that we need to understand the basics, the terminology, we need to understand the process. And above all, we need to come together as one so that we form a body that will be seen as legitimate and serious with the process. These are the major basic things we have to do to start thinking of being on the green column. And another thing is, you were talking of multiple mediators and preconditions. I would call our people to look at the case of Palestine. Check how many times they changed mediators. See how many mediators they used. And see where they are today and the conditions. Because what they did is, before they went into talks, they had these conditions, that condition, and Israel being as smart as they are, they gave them. And then when they requested, because in this process, nothing goes for nothing. If you ask for something, you're going to be given, but be sure to give something too.
Okay.
And multiple mediators requesting for this or that without proper thinking, strategically thinking over what they are doing, is responsible for one of the reasons why Palestine is where they are today. So, again, let us think through this process. Let us understand the process. Let all our movements think over this process, educate ourselves on this process and the different terminologies before we go out there and start speaking. When a meeting is called, let our people come and ask our questions. I want to cite the Republic of Amazonia. They had lots of questions. They had security. They were scared of their safety. But they came there to find out what really is happening. So, okay, if Emmanuel is there, then I'm going to go to. If Kizito is there, I'm going to. If Chebs is there, I'll go and ask my questions. That's what we should do.
Emmanuel, are you saying that Yasser Arafat did not understand this thing even to the day he died? Because when I was in primary school, they used to tell me the leader of the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, Yasser Arafat.
Yeah.
I used
Yes,
to
sir.
hear the story until so he did not succeed to qualify Palestine to come to that green column because that is where I want to be. That is just my dream now. That part.
Yeah. Remember, it is not only Yasser Arafat. Yasser Arafat may be understood, but did Hamas, did all the other movements understood? Because if all the other movements don't come together around Arafat and understand and agree on the process, it will not work. Because Hamas is asking for that. Oh, if we don't have this, we are not going to talk. If we don't have this, we are not going to talk.
Comrade,
And then Palestine,
We're telling him.
the Israelites, they give something to Hamas. And when
Thank,
they do
thank
something
you.
to Hamas starts fighting against Arafat. So the division continues. So that's why I'm saying we have to come together, because if we don't, the Republic is going to do the same thing to us.
Thank you so much. Let me go back to Comrade Marc. Comrade Marc is back. Comrade Marc, you're going to make your input now because you muted your video. Please, I want to play with you. Please just stay on video, and I would really like to see your face continuously on the show. Comrade Marc, director, I want to also ask you this question before you make your comments, but just make your comment brief, and let me ask you: will you want to propose another country to be a mediator, and why? That is the question I have for you. So just make your comment before you go into that. Thank you.
my comment first before I go into that.
Yes.
I was just about to comment on what Marc showed on the screen. I didn't go, though I muted my, I didn't go. I was listening to everything. I was watching also. You were constantly saying you want to be on that green path.
Yes.
But I think if we are sincere, all of us here, we sit here and we look at history, how much or how far other nations fought, we can rightly say that I think where we are now, ours has been fast tracked. That is simple truth. If we look at how other people fought, they fought for long before they came. When we say come and talk without pre-conditions, but we've had our issues in U.S. Congress by the works of diasporans. We've had senators in Britain, in UK House of Lords, called the name of Amba Echos.
Everywhere, Norway, everywhere.
So our case is unique. Our case is unique, and we are where some other nations took many years to be. And like Comrade Emmanuel said, we are going to have this thing very fast if we in the diaspora, all groups and leadership, if we show unity in purpose, if we come together and put this process and put the people first. So I'm not doubting. You see, I'm not doubting that we are going to be in that green color. I'm not doubting that we are going to have independence, because what is happening now has never happened to any nation state that finally gained independence. Our path is unique, it is special, and God and Princess, you know that you are a woman of God. When you pray here, this place will turn upside down. You see, so
Compliments.
we are very confident that we'll be in that green path. It takes coordination, like what when we listen to Weber, when he said last time, it just meant for us to coordinate more, and I bet you we will reach Boya faster than we ever imagined. Coming to the question that you asked about for now I trust the United States of America. For now, I don't trust Britain. They have a stake. I don't trust France. It is the worst. You know. So I trust USA first, then Germany second. But USA, because we have seen it has been in their Congress, it has been in their Senate. I think they have been the ones that, you know, they are the ambassador in Cameroon is the only ambassador who has gone out there and officially accused Cameroon of committing human rights abuses. The other ambassadors are quiet. So I think USA has come out and showed us to be a friend of justice, and because from what they also went through the hands of British, they fought hard through iron and blood to have their own independence, and they understand what it means to fight oppression, to fight colonialism. And so I think that the people of Ambazonia can trust the United States to act as a mediator on behalf of, because they don't have anything to gain from Ambazonia per se. I think they can actually push. Marc is laughing.
No, maybe you don't know what they have to gain. Comrade Marc Barata, maybe you don't know what Marc is laughing, because maybe Marc knows what the US is going to gain. Because sometimes you may not know.
Okay. You can't trust the US.
Let me take that back. Every nation has something to gain. They have stakes.
Okay.
Of course, they have stakes. They have said we are people. From what USA has shown us, our people can trust the United States in this process. Thank you, Dora.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Barata.
Comrade Marc. Just come in briefly.
Okay, I wanted Comrade Marc, so we come in with Emmanuel.
Yeah, if I can just come in briefly. The first thing I want to say, the US has interest on the maritime route, the Gulf of Guinea maritime route is very important to them, and they will do everything to protect that. But that aside, we suspect everybody.
Yes.
But like I said, you saw those case studies. The Swiss have been involved in most of those, and especially those green ones. So our willingness to work with the Swiss does not mean we trust them, but we are looking at the case studies, what they have been doing. It is that we are looking at. And another thing is, coming to the other nations, the US is in line with the Swiss. Maybe in the coming weeks or months, you're going to see the US come out that they support the Swiss process. So, without having US as the mediator, the US will be part of this Swiss process. With that, that's what I wanted to highlight. Over.
Can I ask you something, Comrade Emmanuel?
Yeah.
What is the most important person we need? Is it the mediator who is bringing the two people together, or the negotiator?
Both. The mediator is the referee. The negotiator is the person who is going to speak for us. It could be Professor Anyangwe, it could be Charles Aku. We could choose to hire a law firm or stuff. But what the mediator does, the mediator tries to make sure that the two people coming to talk, they are coming with their eyes open, that they know what they are getting into, they know what is required, they know what the process is.
Okay.
On this,
So it's Operation Shine Your Eye, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because they don't want, the Swiss don't want a situation where Ambazonians are coming to negotiate with La Republique without understanding what it means to negotiate, what negotiation is, what talks and talks is, what are the international guidelines on negotiations and all that stuff. What specialists you need, what you need to know to be able to negotiate, what are the possible outcomes, like we showed on that chart. Those are possible outcomes that Marquez put on, that these are the possible outcomes. And then now they tell us, based on the case studies, this is what these people did to be on the green. This is what these people did to be on the light green. This is what these people did to be on the yellow. They threw us all those facts. So it is for us now to see, so, okay, where do we want to be? We want to be on the green. Okay, if we want to be on the green, what did these people do? They did this. They used this specialists. So we now come together, and when we come together, we look at that. One of the main things, one of the principal things those on the green did was unity. Come together, speak as one person. So that is what it is.
Okay, Comrade Marc Chebs, you laughed so much when Comrade Marc, your brother, was saying you people are twin, because you have the same names. Maybe I'm not, it's not true, but you laugh when your brother said that the US does not have interest and he thinks the new US is the best mediator. And also you were laughing that does not have interest. So the way you laugh, I have a feeling that you have something to say to your brother, and probably you will be talking with him behind doors after this. So tell us something. Let us hear.
So, yes, I think Comrade Emmanuel did answer that. Everybody has an interest, right? That's how the world works. It works based on interest. Now, what I wanted to, why I was laughing was because what Comrade said was right. The US is a key partner in this thing. But I would say that instead of using them as the mediator, we should use them as a guarantor, because they can guarantee the outcome for us and ensure that it is implemented. If we use them as a mediator, we are probably taking away that element from them. So that is why I was laughing that yes, they are a key partner. We should have them, but we should have them in a different role as the guarantor, because they are going to be there shining their eyes, ensuring that we are not being cheated, and that whatever comes out, nobody is going to walk back on it. It's going to be enforced. So that is a role that I see the US playing in this process. And as Comrade Emmanuel said, most of the international organizations have endorsed this process. I think in the coming months, the US is going to endorse it, and Germany is going to come on board too. One key thing I wanted to highlight is this, just so that people understand. As part of this process, France is going to be a key player in this process. We need to understand that, because there's nothing that is going to happen in Cameroon without France. France also has a lot of influence at the level of the Security Council and within the international policy. So if you go back to those three things that I said in the beginning, that you need the international community to be on your side, that includes France. So we have to turn our minds to the fact that as well as La République is going to be playing a role in the process, all of these different stakeholders have roles that they are going to be playing in the process. It doesn't mean that because they have a role to play that it's going to muddy the process, or that it's going to make the process out of our favor. No, it is a process that is going to be designed to be as fair as possible to all the parties, but each stakeholder has a role to play to ensure the success of the process.
Are there no questions from the public?
Well, most people have been talking mostly about the terms of negotiation that are already proposed to you or asked to you people, like free all our brothers and sisters who are in jail, including our leaders, President Siseko and his cabinet, demilitarize the southern Cameroons. That is exactly what some people were thinking that way, and that is what like I said, I am of that opinion too. But when I got to understand the terminologies and then the process, is a scientist says something is done chronologically in a systematic way. Step one, this is contact. Step two, when you people start talking, I believe you people will start talking about that. And the people that we are going to put to do the negotiation, they're going to talk. But something, my head actually wants to explode, because you people have said a lot of words today that I did not know. Immediator, negotiator, guarantor. I didn't know. Let me tell you something. I am lost, because you people are really schooling me, because I believe Amazonians need to be schooled. And I want to talk to all of those who are watching this video, that please endeavor to share this link as far and wide. Please don't watch this video alone, because the noise, and I have learned something, that we need to stop this noise on social media. We need to come together and stop blackmail. This man said this man said that, because something has come so quick to us that we have to climb the mountain and stand up and raise the flag. That is something that has made us. That is what I'm saying. I don't know, because this matter has taken me so. In fact, I was asking somebody, and somebody asked me that, Princess Bara, I want to ask you something. Did you expect the international community to come down to Amazonia or to go to La Republic, get a gun, and begin to shoot people? What response did you expect? That is it, if not of a talk or contact. What do you people expect these people to do after all this protest, after all this tweeting, after so much Twitter B is very high. So social media, you people are here talking. In fact, somebody told me that I saw you in Brussels. The person said, I saw you on Southern Cameroon Broadcasting Corporation. I saw you talking for the people of Southern Cameroon. I was like, come on. I didn't know that diplomats also watch this television. So it's very important that our people start thinking. So we are about to wrap up this program, because with the next program starts in less than 10 minutes time. So I want to ask Comrade Marc Barata. Comrade Marc Barata, what would be your take-home message from all what we have been discussing here? What will you want to tell the people, the public? Comrade Marc, are you there? Okay, maybe he's still to join or still to come. Yeah, Comrade Chebs. Comrade Marc Chebs, please, can you tell us what is your take-home message? What is the assignment, and what should the people of Amazonia be doing at this point in time?
Yes, thank you. Thanks to the viewers for watching. My take-home is that we need, again, I reiterate, the party that comes to the table as the most united is the party that is the most successful and has the most leverage. So we need to build cohesion amongst ourselves. All of the other movements who did not come on the trip to make this contact, I urge them on the next contact mission, come there. Even if you don't want to participate, come and sit and listen and ask questions and then make your decision. But don't stay away and not come and say that, and then be talking from a position where you're not informed. So come, everybody should get on board this process. This is the process that is going to bring us closer to our goal than we have ever witnessed before. I urge all Amazonians, Southern Cameroonians to participate in any information sessions that are going to be held, any educative forums like this platform, and learn about the process, because it is only in learning about the process that you can really ask questions that will help you contribute from your own small way, the best contribution that you can to make the process go ahead. If you don't ask questions and inform yourselves, you will only be arguing about things that might only divide us further. The other one is that we have to really keep up the fight. We have to do more. We have to continue doing the things that we have been doing that has brought us here. We cannot relax now. We have to keep up so that there's pressure. The pressure is ongoing, and I believe that we would succeed.
Thank you so much. I want to make this remark. During the Arab-Israeli War of 1946, Israel had a prime minister by a woman called Golda Meir. Golda Meir told the U.S. government that no planes, no talks. That means it is time for ground action. So I think it is high time for Amazonians to adopt the principle of Golda Meir to say no planes, no talks. Ground action, diplomacy. In fact, we must do it the force of argument and the argument of force. That is what essentially you are telling us, to keep on doing what we have been doing and to intensify. So she was very angry because she wanted more planes to, it was a 6 days war, to bring down the whole Arab war. In 6 days, one small nation, tiny nation, that is what she did. That is the principle of Amazonia now. Operation Shine Your Eye. Get the right information. Comrade Marc Barata, please, what will you want to tell our people? Because I believe these are your brothers here. You're going to be talking with them more so that we can get more enlightenment. We are not begging for this if other nations are moving close to us. So, Comrade Marc, tell us, what do you want to tell the Amazonian public as their take-home message so that we can leave this platform in less than, I think, 5 minutes or so?
Yes, thank you very much, Comedora. Like how you have just said, it is Operation Shine Your Eyes. And that is why Barata News and myself, we are out there, watching at the process, coming out with information that we think are supposed to be out, necessary information to guard those who are involved in the process, to build themselves a fortified wall, and to get Amazonians involved in the process. And what I'm telling all Amazonians is that we have to keep our eyes open to make sure that whatever happens from this contact phase to the next phase of the process to the eventual negotiations, whenever it happens, we must be involved and we have to know every step of the process. And why doing that? Like you said, our joker, it should be what the Israel Prime Minister said, no planes, no negotiation. So we have to also say no AK, no negotiation. So we have to make the floor boiling to keep the Amazonian war in independence alive. And I think I had come with my Chebs to appeal to the other movements to come. What personally I expect should be done is that all the leadership, all those who met in Switzerland, I guess and I hope they have their own small contact group where they are discussing. They should be able to reach out to all stakeholders in this movement, to all other movements that are not yet part and parcel of the process, because the general feeling amongst our people is that we need every leader, every movement to come together and put in place a unified voice and structure on how to take these things to go ahead. Like I said in one of my programs, we cannot abandon the Swiss-led process, even though some people have reservations. Even though some people have reservations, we cannot abandon it. We have to come in. We have to involve in it on the process and take it ahead. And I agree with my Chebs that the US could be a good guarantor because they have all the instruments to ensure that whatever is agreed is being respected by both parties. We know that Cameroon is a bully, and we are young. We are still a young baby struggling to survive. So we need those guarantors to ensure. So my only appeal going forward now, my last statement is for Amazonians to, while funding Ground Zero, let us open our eyes, like open our eyes, to ensure that we are not being swept under the carpet, and to call on all group leaders, all group movement. We should come together and be prepared, because Cameroon might be thinking that now we are arguing on the matter, and they find a fine moment to just bombard us. Then we start arguing, hey, who is going, who is not going, what is happening? Let us be prepared, come together, form a unified team, set up a team of proposals. If Group A propose 2 persons, Group B, once they all agree that we think that we want to hire maybe a negotiating firm who best understand our history, or we want to bring in ambassadors like Pam Molanjo, Prof. Anyangwe, Mr. Atemkeng, all those other people who understand the stakes, we bring them in. And once it is agreed and endorsed by all the movement, nobody in Chebs will go against. Because most often, once a few groups agree on something, those who go against are basically the supporters of the other group, trying to bring in innuendos and so. So if all of us agree that these are our negotiators, they stay put, waiting for the day that Cameroon will ever agree, no problem, while we keep on making Ground Zero to boil. That's my appeal.
Thank you so much, Comrade Marc. Yeah, Comrade Emmanuel, you have the last word for the day. So tell us, what do you want to tell Amazonians to do? And what is the take-home message? Because all of these are precautions we are taking to prevent the occurrence of a second Fumban conference. That is why this show is going on. And I'm going to, let me just say something, I'm going to come up with many shows of this nature, many educative shows, so that we can educate and inform ourselves right down to Ground Zero, because it is a serious process and we have to cross the bridge. We've gotten to the bridge, to the stream, we have to cross the bridge. Comrade Emmanuel, go.
Yeah, I just have one very simple thing to say. All pro-independence supporters of Southern Cameroon, there are a few of us who were in Geneva. If you have any questions about Geneva, call one of us. Do not listen to the people who were not in Geneva. You know very well. Somebody who was not there cannot tell you what happened there. Scope was and is very skeptical about every Western nation. But we chose to go there and ask our questions and listen. We are here to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, please do not listen to people who were not in Geneva. Call any person who was in Geneva whom you can connect with and ask your questions. Let us come together as one and find ourselves on the green column where we belong. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Chebs. Thank you so much, Comrade Marc Berete. Thank you so much, Comrade Emmanuel Agbor. I want to say that this is indeed a gentleman's club. You know, like I said, I love gentlemen because they have said a lot of things and you've made me laugh. You've given me a lot of knowledge. Very important. And you're telling our people that the most important thing they have to do is to save Amazonia. You've talked about the power of unity. And one of the things that I have learned that I must confess is that if I am going to Geneva and you choose not to go to Geneva, I will never have the conception that you are wrong going to Geneva. And I will never like to voice that on social media. No. If you are coming to Brussels and I'm not going to come to Brussels, I will allow you to go there and get the capacity building. Because our new nation will need both. I will not castigate those who are in Brussels or those who have gone to Geneva. I just need to learn to be fair in whatever I do. If I have no knowledge of what transpired in Geneva, I will keep my mouth sealed and wait and listen. That is how Amazonians ought to behave. If we don't stop this fighting, we will be guilty of brother killing brother. And we don't want our new nation to have the emblem and the mark of Cain who killed Abel. We don't need a substitute. We Amazonians have to be focused. There is nothing like Fuman Conference when we are in the era of shine your eyes in the 21st century. It is impossible. Amazonia has technocrats. We have heard. I'll be coming to this platform with different platforms, and this platform, many platforms, with a lot of messages about this, many platforms with a lot of messages and educative messages, and I'll be encouraging the Amazonian public to join us so that we can do something. This is our country. It belongs to us, and we must see that we are free, totally liberated from the oppressor. Get the oppressor out of our nation. Thank you so much once more, gentlemen, and I wish you people a very nice weekend. Thank you for your time and your energy. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. God bless you, Amazonia.
God bless you.